Throughout history, the spirit of exploration has driven brave men to the edges of the known world. But not all who venture into the unknown return. Today we uncover the haunting stories of 5 legendary explorers who set out on bold quests and were never seen again. Sir John Franklin, a decorated British naval officer, set out in 1845 with 2 ships, the HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, to find the long-sought Northwest Passage. With 129 men and provisions for years, it was the most ambitious Arctic mission of its time. The ships were bristling with new technology, including steam engines and reinforced hulls. They represented the height of Victorian confidence in progress and empire. Franklin himself had already survived multiple polar voyages and believed this would be his crowning achievement. As the expedition sailed from England to cheering crowds, it seemed destined for greatness. But after entering the Canadian Arctic, the ships were last seen by whalers in Baffin Bay in July 1845. Then, silence. No more messages. No sightings. Years passed and concern grew. In response, the British Admiralty launched an unprecedented series of rescue missions. What they began to uncover painted a tragic and horrifying picture. Scattered remains, discarded equipment, and eerie messages were found. One note revealed that Franklin had died in June 1847. The ships had become trapped in ice near King William Island. The crew tried to walk south in a desperate bid for survival. Inuit oral histories and later forensic discoveries suggested the men faced starvation, exposure, lead poisoning, and even cannibalism. Despite being well provisioned, the Arctic proved merciless. Over a century later, in 2014 and 2016, the wrecks of Erebus and Terror were found, astonishingly well preserved beneath the ice. But despite modern research, many questions remain. Why did the expedition, so meticulously planned, descend into disaster? The Franklin expedition endures as a chilling reminder of nature's dominance and the fine line between glory and ruin. By 1937, Amelia Earhart was more than just a pilot. She was a global icon. The first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, she represented freedom, courage, and the modern spirit. Her next goal was her boldest yet, to fly around the world along the equator in a twin-engine Lockheed Electra. With navigator Fred Noonan by her side, she departed in May and had already crossed continents and oceans. By late June, she was approaching the final and most difficult stretch, the vast and isolated Pacific. On July 2, 1937, Earhart and Noonan took off from Lae, New Guinea, en route to Howland Island, a tiny speck of land nearly impossible to spot from the air. As they neared their destination, radio transmissions from Earhart grew increasingly anxious. "We must be on you, but cannot see you," she transmitted. Then, nothing. The silence was deafening. The US Navy launched the largest sea-air search in history, scouring thousands of miles of ocean. No wreckage was found, no emergency signal was received. In the decades since, theories have ranged from a simple crash and sink to the possibility of Earhart landing on remote Nikumaroro Island. Some believe she and Noonan survived for a time, while others speculate they were captured by the Japanese. Despite tantalizing clues, bone fragments, aluminum sheets, and personal items, no definitive evidence has ever confirmed her fate. What happened to Amelia Earhart remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of aviation. Her disappearance turned her into a legend, embodying the risks of ambition and the enduring appeal of the unknown. Percy Fawcett was no ordinary explorer. A seasoned British officer and surveyor, Fawcett was captivated by tales of a lost civilization deep in the Amazon jungle, a city he called Z. Based on ancient maps, indigenous stories, and his own experiences, Fawcett believed this city had once flourished and could still be found. In 1925, backed by newspapers and scientific societies, Fawcett embarked on his final expedition. With him were his son Jack and Jack's friend Raleigh Rimmel. Before they disappeared into Brazil's Mato Grosso region, Fawcett left a note. "If we don't return, no rescue party should be sent." Weeks turned into months, then years. No word came back. Despite his warning, rescue missions were launched. Many ended in failure, some in death. The jungle swallowed searchers whole. Some encountered hostile tribes, others found only rumors of a tall white man living with indigenous people or bones buried under sacred ground. None of it was ever proven. Fawcett's obsession with Z may have led him to his end, but recent discoveries suggest he wasn't chasing fantasy. Archaeologists using satellite imagery have uncovered vast networks of settlements, suggesting that complex civilizations once did thrive in the Amazon. Fawcett may have been right all along. His disappearance remains both a cautionary tale and a tantalizing mystery. A man who walked into the unknown and may have touched something ancient before vanishing forever. In 1785, France launched its answer to Captain Cook's famous voyages. The Enlightenment was in full swing, and France was eager to advance science and national prestige. Jean-François de La Pérouse, a skilled naval officer, was chosen to command a grand scientific expedition. His two ships, La Boussole and l'Astrolabe, set out to chart the Pacific, collect specimens, and make peaceful contact with distant peoples. For 3 years, they sent back detailed reports from Alaska, Easter Island, the Philippines, and Australia. Then in 1788, after leaving Botany Bay, they vanished. No letters, no wreckage, nothing. The mystery baffled Europe. Even King Louis, imprisoned during the French Revolution, reportedly asked before his execution, "Is there any news of La Pérouse?" Decades later, stories from islanders in the Solomon Islands hinted at shipwrecks and strange visitors. In the 1820s, French explorer Dumont d'Urville discovered wreckage on Vanikoro Island. Cannons, anchors, and ship parts confirmed to be from La Pérouse's vessels. It appeared that one ship had been wrecked in a storm. Survivors from the second vessel may have built a raft and sailed away, but were never seen again. Though fragments of the story were eventually pieced together, the final chapter remains unknown. Did any survive? Did their scientific journals sink to the bottom of the sea? La Pérouse's name lives on in history, a testament to the risks of discovery and the fragility of human endeavour in the face of nature's wrath. George Bass was a young British naval surgeon turned explorer, whose name became synonymous with Australia's early coastal discoveries. Alongside Matthew Flinders, he explored vast sections of Australia's shoreline and confirmed the existence of the strait that now bears his name. By 1803, Bass was ambitious and restless. He acquired a ship called the Venus and set off from Sydney with a small crew and a secret plan, possibly to engage in illegal trade with Spanish colonies in South America, a move that defied British law. He sailed into the Pacific with no official record of his destination, and then disappeared. No shipwreck was found. No letters ever arrived. No trace of the Venus or her crew was seen again. Rumors swirled. Some said he was captured by Spanish authorities and died in a prison in South America. Others speculated the Venus had been wrecked at sea. A few claimed he had assumed a new identity and lived out his days in obscurity. Despite the many theories, Bass's fate remains an enigma. He was only 32 when he vanished. His contributions to Australian exploration were foundational, but his final voyage cast a long shadow. He remains a quiet legend, an explorer whose disappearance reminds us of the vastness of the ocean and the secrets it still holds. They were visionaries, adventurers, explorers of land, sea, and sky, but they were also mortal, caught in the wild edges of Earth where maps fade and myth begins. Their disappearances remain unsolved, their stories incomplete. But perhaps that is the price of greatness, to become not just part of history, but part of legend.